Hi there, I'm Java Jim with First Line Equipment. Welcome to our YouTube channel if you're new. Welcome back if you've subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the like button, whatever. Subscribe to our YouTube channel here. Like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Today, we have some ECM machines here with the E61 group head with the stainless steel mushrooms. Most of these machines come now with the stainless steel mushrooms. Just to let you know, inside the stainless steel mushroom, there's actually a little brass giclure, and that little brass giclure, as you can see, I don't read off of scripts. I don't have any teleprompter. This is all free flowing. Is inside this flow control device here. Here we have the Technica, we have the Electronica, we have the Mechanica Slim. We also sell the Mechanica, and also there was another model, can't remember. We used to sell the Barista. Anyways, we have here at First Line, we've actually had for some time, the ECM Flow Control Device, or paddle, or whatever you want to call it. We have the kits here, which can also come in a plastic bag. Disclosure is that we do not purchase, nor have we purchased in the past, this kit from ECM. Now you're probably saying, why do we have to say that? Because we get the machines from there. The reason is we have a nice competitor up in New York who says they have exclusivity, and if I don't put this disclosure and disclaimer, they will be picking up the phone and calling and suing. It's the way they kind of operate. So these kits, which we've accumulated over the past 2 years, have come from different sources, and basically I can't say who, because they may get in trouble. But most likely not, because there's no way to figure where these came from, and also, like I said, various sources. But we do have them here at First Line as an alternative. We will be selling them to clients who've purchased the ECM machines from us, or basically we'd like to get them on new machines that do go out. So we're going to go over real quick on what's included, how to install it, and then for you in the future to enjoy it. In this kit, like I said, it comes in this package, or it can come in a bag depending where it's coming from or who's packaging it. You'll get a sheet of instructions. This one's wrinkled. I like to wrinkle up my instructions, make sure people here at First Line see that I look busy. Oh wow, he's busy. He read the instructions so many times. And I'm scratching my head because these darn mosquitoes here in New Jersey tend to bite this time of year. In this kit is the flow control device that's pre-assembled. The little knob comes off and there's rotation on this. The gasket, whoop, took that off. The gasket, the green gasket's typically on here. The white gasket goes near the top on the threaded portion of the mushroom. The gauge that goes on the group head, and the spring that goes on the lower portion of the E61. What you will need: 5 millimeter metric Allen key and a number 10 crescent wrench, or if you have a standard wrench or adjustable wrench, you can use that. And most important, masking tape. And my wife loves masking tape. You know why? Because she said I talk too much, and la. Yeah, she does say I talk too much. And sometimes in my videos, I do talk too much. So she doesn't watch my videos, but she says I talk too much. Anyways, the purpose of the masking tape is so you don't scratch, okay? Because you're doing minor surgery to the machine. So here we have the Technica. You'll basically want to put some masking tape over and the mushroom, which is a good idea, and then tape it up. Now, if you get it on the group head, you might not be able to turn it. Take your number 10. Typically, it's almost the max setting. And then from the top, lefty-loosey counterclockwise. Okay, once you start it, you can pretty much do it by hand. Okay, and basically it pops out. We'll take the masking tape off. And we'll be taking those components out. Now, these two pieces actually separate, and if you take it out, you'll see the brass jaclure that I was talking about. Now, you're not going to keep the old one in here because it's very tiny. On these flow control devices, it's actually larger, and when you compare the two, you could see that it is larger. No plumber's tape in here. This is basically going in, but before you do that, let's put this back on, and you want to extend out the needle, okay? It's not really gonna do harm if you don't do it, but good practice is extended out so you can actually see the thread portion of the needle device. And basically, we'll start by hand. Get it started. Now you can see this knob was basically designed to clear, because this flow control device actually, okay, turns more than your other flow control devices. Now, once you bring it down, okay, we'll take this portion off, we'll put some tape on, okay, and what I like to do is, okay, righty-tighty, go nice and tight, and then just an eighth to a quarter of a turn, oomph, maybe a second oomph, okay? Be careful you don't hit the wrench on the body, and I went a little more, couple oomphs. So you may go up to quarter of a turn, 3/8 of a turn. Take the tape off, okay? Take your top section, tighten it, and bring it all the way, okay, clockwise. And then you could either set it here and tighten it, okay, or you could set it, lift this up and get the teeth to set here, okay? So I like here. I'm used to working the paddle from here to here, and that's one turn and almost two turns on this flow control device. Now, I've tried using these flow control devices, making kind of like regular coffee. I've experimented with that. I've experimented with other things. The purpose of the flow control device is controlling the flow, not opening the flow. And really there's a set parameter that I like to work in. And basically it's the small range from here to about here. And you start going further, you're just opening up the flow. The entire purpose, again, for this device was to bring the flow down, bring the pressure hitting the puck downwards, because that's where you can hit some of the sweet spots or differentiate the flavors, and I say flavors, coming out of your espresso blend. And this is why back when I gave another company this idea on an E61 back in December 2015, from my experience of trying different coffees at the same grind setting, same amount of dosage, same amount, not so much same amount of water, but trying at different pump pressures, I started tasting differences in the espresso. And that's why that little range is really an exciting range where you can really produce some very, very good flavor profiles using the same coffee, the same grind. Also, if your grind is off, not so much too fine, but too coarse, you can recover the shot. So that's another benefit. That's why everyone's copying this device, because it works. On this particular paddle or flow control device, I do have to warn you, another disclosure, is that make sure you only touch the black knob, because it gets piping hot up here where you can burn yourself. So although you have more flexibility, you do need to be very careful turning the knob, and there's a little metal portion on the knob as well. So be extremely careful not to touch. You're basically gonna have to use your little fingers, not my big fingers, to turn this knob around and open and close the flow control device. Typically in this position, you should be fully closed. Now, if you have any leakage or restricted flow, remember there is a brass jaclure on the inside, and I have seen this on the machines. You may have some limescale buildup, which is either calcium white, magnesium black. If you're using water that's too pure, you may get some corrosion in terms of a green buildup. So if you see any problems that are occurring, the best thing is to try to just run water through the group head or descaling solution, water with a descaling solution, run it through and see if that clears up the flow control problem. So pretty simple. You could probably sell this for a good penny because ECM really doesn't make these available as a resale, or they usually they did in the beginning, and then they said, oh, you have to buy with the group head, because people tried to buy these to put them on other machines. Now, a little tidbit, do other flow control devices work on ECM? I've tested them, and I think that the diameter here is a little bigger or wider than, say, other E61s. So what ends up happening is you get a little leakage, which either means you need a bigger O-ring or it just doesn't work. So the ECM will probably work the best for the ECM machines. Will this fit other machines? I couldn't answer. When the other company came out with it, I made it very clear that a flow control device from one company may not work with another company's machines, because there are actually little nuances, little differences that I can't even sometimes see on the E61 group heads. And they're basically sourced, I believe, from two other companies that produce the group heads for all of Europe. There may be a couple other companies, but there's two major players. None of these guys make their own group heads. They may have their own designed group heads, but they don't make their own group heads. So just keep that in mind. So that's the flow control device. Now, the 5mm Allen key. We'll take that little screw out there in the beginning. Typically, there's a washer in here, a white washer that you need to reuse because they don't give you a new one. You could basically put this on the back of the gauge, and then from there you could start it by hand, okay? And this you definitely don't want to over tighten, and this is getting awfully close, and just basically put it to right there. So there's several turns. It does look like the gauge is touching on the back side of this. I'm not crazy about that. When you test it, if you get any leaks, then you may need a little bit of plumber's tape, just a little bit on the threading, maybe like 1 wrap or 1.5. It shouldn't leak, but it may leak, okay? Keep the screw. And then the last but not least is to change the spring. Again, trust the instructions. Reread, and reread. And basically, this probably is going to be the hardest part. Again, try not to damage your body. And we'll get this started. Maybe going the wrong way there. Yep, I am going the wrong way because it's opposite direction. And we'll get this started off. Let me get the tape off. This one requires a little bit of muscle. And I think this is the biggest pita to put back on, to be honest with you. Do it by hand. Work on a cold machine that's not plugged in. Okay, take that piece out, get the spring out, and jeez, where'd the other spring go? Somebody blew a little gas over here and put the spring on the floor. Playing tricks on me here at first line. Try not to turn this upside down. Just put the spring back in. Okay, this is going to be the hardest part. I suggest taking the tape off at this point and getting this back in there. And basically you're going to need 2 hands, one to push up from the bottom and one to start the threading. Okay, once you get that started, by hand, keep on going. And why do I like to use my hands? The more you use the wrench, the higher the chance of scratching. And I personally don't like scratches on my espresso machines or my vehicles. Okay, once I get enough tightened by hand, again, no plumber's tape there. If you want to reuse some tape, just get it on the bolt action right there. And 1/8 to 1/4 turn. That should be it. Next, you'll turn on the machine. Run some water through the group head in full open. Make sure there are no leaks anywhere, especially the point here, and the point up here, as well as here. Then start bringing it down. Okay, now the gauge doesn't tell you the pump pressure. The pump pressure is told right here. Okay, and your steam pressure is told right there. This is the resistance or the flow of the water or the pressure hitting the puck. So typically full open with no resistance in the group head means you probably will get between 0.2, 0.4. If you put your coffee grind in there, you're getting 4 maximum and you're going way down. If you're getting 4, it could be the flow control, but if you're full open, means your grind's not fine enough. Okay, so just because you're not getting pump pressure here or pressure doesn't mean that it's not working correctly. A lot of times it's the fineness of the grind, the amount of coffee in the basket, and the tamping pressure that's put into the basket. This measures more so the resistance that's happening here when it's full open. So if you're at, say, 9 bar here and full open, you got a pretty good coffee grind going on there, and you can bring it down to lessen the flow. So just keep that in mind. Throw that out. If you have any questions or comments, please ask down below. Please comment. And once again, Java Jim with First Line Equipment, thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up and have a double thumbs up day. Take care.